Recording in progress.
Okay, how's the situation of Nigeria been treating us?
We are pushing through. We are cooking.
You're coping, okay.
Joshua is not smiling.
It's not smiling, okay. Okay, so I think one of the things we can do is that we can try to in order not to rely on the government, right? So one of the things like a lot of people do say is that just try to increase your streams of income, some people will say that please increase your stream of income. Some would say that you should go and learn more additional skills that you can use to, like future, like just safeguard yourself from inflation, right? Because one of the best investments you can do for yourself, right, in this time is just to invest in yourself. Just look for that one skill, whether it is data analytics, whether it is software engineering, or whether it is UI, UX, or whether it is how to do business, is also a skill, right? There are a lot of things, right, that you can learn, and once you learn them, then you're now going to need to provide a service with those knowledge, either online or offline, or those. So I feel that's one of the ways we can just use to help ourselves during this time. Just invest in yourself, like no matter how little or expensive it could be, because it will pay in the long run. Yeah. So, and that's one of the things we are doing here at MTA. Try to uplift everyone with the right skills so that they can become relevant wherever they find themselves. Okay, so as not to just take much time of our time, you are welcome again for week. I think this is week 2 of our data academy, which was still on advanced Excel. I know by next week you guys will go into another phase, which is not Excel, but more advanced than Excel. Yeah, but the foundation Excel will help you at that level. Okay, so I can see on the call we have 53 in number. Okay, I think we can just start because we really don't have much time, to be honest. So hey, I remember I gave an assignment the last time. That was last week. We were able to attend the assignment because I say no, a number of us have submitted the assignments, right? But I just want to hear our suggestions, like our thoughts on the assignments before I share my screen. And I've shared the solution to the admin. Is going to share that with everyone. Okay, let me close this. Let me share my screen. Okay, please confirm you can see my screen.
Yes, we can see.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, yes. So last week, we touched on a number of things. We looked at basic Excel functions. Let me just try to share my screen. Yeah. Okay, so this is our guide. This is the guide we've been using since last week for our course. We've talked about the top 10 tips. I know we stopped at number 9, which is goal seek. But this week we'll be going into formulas, right? Going to formulas proper, advanced formulas, and I'm going to be giving us case study, real life scenario, where we can apply those formulas as assignments, as exercises to work on. So this time it's not going to be simple, right? Now it's now going to be real life. Like you need to apply what you've learned, right? So we talked about how to navigate faster with Excel keyboard last week. We also talked about how to master the simple tasks using basic Excel keyboards for shortcuts. The videos are on YouTube. We can watch them. How to quickly navigate larger files. We've done that. We inspect workbook for hidden information. We also touched on that. How to use protection appropriately on our Excel documents. How do we import from web? I think we already touched about how to import from web, how to audit formulas. We also talked about how to improve our presentation with number formatting. And we talked about solving problems with goal-seek, right? So my understanding is that we are done with them and it's understood, right? But today we'll be moving to pivot table for super fast analysis, right? So for data, there's something in data analysis that they call the dashboard, you have all these graphics and all, right? So if you are good with pivots, like at the end of the day, after you've analyzed all your data, you need to put it in a dashboard format or in a presentable format, right? So that's why you see all this dashboard and all. But if you have a good understanding of pivots, yeah, I think at least you have a good, like you are 50% there. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to touch on that today, but I just want to present the solution to the assignment last week. Where's the solution? Okay, I think I shared it with the okay. Okay, let me close this. Download. Oops, can't seem to find this, but maybe we'll just continue. Exercise, thanks on the exercise. Okay.
Please, sir, if you can't find it, maybe this today's session, sir.
Yeah, what did you say?
I said if you can't find it, maybe you should just on, sir.
Okay. As far as not to take much of our time, I'm going to send the solution to the admin. I think I sent the wrong file to him, but I also shared the material which we'll be using for week 2, which is today. So I've sent it to him. So you're going to see T10, F1 up until M3, right? So that's what we're going to be using for this week. And the goal is to complete everything we have here. We're just going to be very fast about it. But while we are fast, I'll also make sure that we understand it. So is anyone saying, okay, so let me just move on. So today's session, we'll be looking at how to use pivot table for super fast analysis. All right. So when you hear of pivot table, what comes to your mind, right? So pivot table it's a function in Excel that enables you to summarize your data such a way that you don't have to write any serious formula. You don't even have to write formulas, right? For you to do pivot table. You don't need to do any kind of analysis, or you need to do some kind of formula or adding or dividing something. No. So pivot table, it's a very powerful function in Excel that enables you to analyze your data depending on whatever you want to achieve, right? And it's very easy. All you need to do is just what? Select the data you have. Make sure that your data is clean, right? So if you are working on the data, for example, what we have on our screen, we have a data for year, the month, the sales agent, the actual revenue and planned revenue, right? So this is like a sales data, right? That was pulled from an entity's system, right? So they have all their agents and the actual sales that they've made during the month, right? And the quantity that they sold. But the planned revenue that they also gave them, you also have that on this Excel. So we ensure that our data is clean, right? So what do I mean by our data is clean? That means the data has an heading, as an header. You can see the year, month, sales agents, quantity, actual revenue, and planned revenue. So that's our heading. We also have the data itself. You can see that there are no space in between. There are no, I mean, everything is clean. Yeah, everything is clean. So all you need to do is just what? Select the entire cell, Control Shift down, select up onto the end. So after you do that, then go to your what? Go to your insert option. Go to your insert option. Then you're going to see pivot table. Pivot table. So you click on the pivot table, right? You say from table, right? So it's going to ask you. So whenever you click on pivot table, so it's going to ask you the range of table. So the range of table we are selecting is what? It's A3 up until F69. We can see that here, F69. So it's asking you that where do you want your pivot table to be placed? Do you want to place it on a new worksheet or an existing worksheet, right? So for easy analysis, right? So we're going to place it on this existing worksheet. So we're going to say existing worksheet. So if you say existing worksheet, then to ask you for the location. So you can just click on anywhere. Let's click here, right? Then click OK, right? Now, so this is the pivot fields, right? Because the way pivot table is designed is such that values, anything that are in numbers, would be under the value option, under the value field. Columns, you also have rows, then you also have the filter. I'm going to explain how all of this works, right? So for example, now we are trying to look at the revenue for each agent on a yearly basis, right? So what do we need to do? Remember that our values are what? The actual revenue, right? The number, things that are in number format. So let's say actual revenue. You can see Excel has automatically determined that revenue is a value, right? So that's why it has placed it here. We can see that here. Then we also have the year, right? So we want our year to be what? To be on the, we can put our year on the row. Let's put it here. Okay, can we see it? Can we see that the years are on the row now? Right, 2016. Okay, everything here is 2016. Okay. We can put it on the column. Let's put it on the row, depending on how we want. So we also want the months, or let's say sales agents. We want our sales agents as well. So our sales agent is also on where? It's also on the row. We can see that here. So we can see that here. Okay, so it's trying to click here. Okay, sales agent. Yeah, we can see that sales agent is on the row, right? Then what else do we need? Maybe we don't need the year. Let's take out the year. We only need the agents and the actual revenue. Or we can say, let's say the months, for example, right? So if you look at this now, we have agents, the total, and for each month. So you can say that it has summarized all the data we have here, right, into this format. You can see that agent A, we can know the total actual revenue. Agent B, on a month-on-month basis, we can also see the breakdown of their revenue. However, because let's say we don't want it to be like this, we can untick this month option, right? Or we can tick the month option. And let's say we want to be seeing it agent on agent basis, right? We don't want everything to show on our screen, right? So you can pick the agent as a filter. So just click on it and drag it to filter, right? So what the filter option does is that you can see on the top here, we have our sales agent, and the drop down here has said all agents. If I come here to say, let's select multiple fields, untick, let's say I want to see only agent A, right, revenue. So you can see this is agent A revenue. I can also change it to say, let's say I want to see agent A, right, and agent C revenue, right? So we can see that as the dates, the agents are changing, the data here is also what is also changing, right? So that's how we do pivot table. We can also go advanced to say, okay, we don't want our drop down to look like this. Let's select all our agents, right? So these are all the agents and their revenue on a month-to-month basis, right? However, we can also come here and change. Let's say we don't want the name here to look like this. You can change the name. Let's say I don't want to see row labels here. You can change it and say months, right? And click enter. So you can see that you've changed your header to be months, right? So you can change your header on your pivot table. Let's say I don't want to see sum of actual revenue. I just want to see actual revenue, right? Press enter. You can see that we've changed it, the header of the pivot table, right? Another option that we can do is we can also insert a slicer, right? Because whenever you create a pivot table, right? So two additional tab is going to be created. You can see pivot table, analyze, and design. So depending on the type of Excel version you're working with, you're going to see the pivot table, analyze, or you see the design, right? So the design basically is just, design, right? Let's say I want to just color all my data. So you can see that it has changed it. So depending on the type of coloring I want, I can format it to whatever I want. So that's basically what the design does. So the design also allows you to include a row header or not. So if I click on row header, right? Okay, let's say column header now. So you can see, right? So I don't want my column header to be highlighted. I clicked on it, right? So let's say I want to have subtotal, right? In my analysis, I can also I can show the subtotal at the top. I can show it at the ground. Let's say I want a grand total. So the grand total is also showing. You can see that 18126 is our grand total. You can turn it off here. Like you don't want your grand total. It's going to go away, right? So report layouts. Let's say you just want to change how it looks, right? So then the blank rows. So if you don't want, if let's say when you did your analysis and you have some blank rows in between them, so you can remove those blank lines, right? All right. So you can actually do that on the design tab, right? But on our pivot analysis, right, we can also perform some functions here. We can insert a pivot chart. We can check for, we can insert the pivot charts. We can do all these ones are pivot chart. We can show fields headers, right? So let's say I don't want my header to show, right? So I click on this, you can see the button. So the button, let's see if I want to group my data together, right? So I can group them using the button option. Then the field list, right? So if you want your pivot table, so you can see that on our right hand side, there's a pivot table field that keeps showing anytime we click on the pivots, the data that we've analyzed, right? But if you click outside of that analysis, you would see that that field is going to go away. If you click back on the data, it's going to come out, right? So, but if you want it to show, regardless of whether you're inside data or not, so you can use this field list option to do that. And yeah, you can refresh your data. Let's say you made an update here on your original data. Let's say I've changed my actual revenue to, let's say, 1,000, right? So Excel will not automatically refresh it. So you can see that in January now, initially it was what, 300. Now I've changed it to what, to 1,000. My revenue for January should increase, right? But it has not increased. So in order to make it increase, you need to use the refresh option. So just click on refresh. So you can see that my data has increased from 3,000 to 3,799. Can we see that now? So the refresh option allows you to what? To refresh your pivot analysis. let's say you made a change to the original data source. This is our data source. Please note that this is our data, but this is the analyzed version, right? So it has summarized, I mean, look at it a lot into just this simple format, right? So we can do that as well. And you can also insert slicer. So what does slicer mean? So for those that are, I mean, if you are working with dashboard, just like I mentioned earlier, let me show it. So slicer is more dynamic, right? So it allows you to make changes to your data, right? It's very cool actually. So let's say we want to make changes to our data using the sales agent. So we can create a slicer for our sales agent, right? So let's tick on sales agent, for example, and click OK, right? So you can see that it has created what? A slicer for our data. So if you click on what? Agent A is going to change agent B, agent C, agent D, right? Let's say I don't want it to look like this, right? I want it to look more cool, right? What I can do is I can say slicer setting. So you can see that when we created the slicer, a slicer tab was created for us. You can also make changes to this slicer, right? Right. So let's do a slicer setting. All right. So the name is what? Sales agent. Let's say I don't want the name to show. I will take it. The name is not going to show, right? And I click OK. Right. So sales agent is not going to show. Let's say I don't want it to look like this. I want it to look in I want it to look this way. Let's change this guy to 4. I press OK. Then I drag this guy and drag this up. Right. So you can see that. So it's looking cool, right? So anytime you are taking this, your data is changing. It's more like, how did you create this thing? So this is a slicer, right? So it allows you to what? To make changes to your data. It looks very cool and dynamic, right? More than filters. So, and let's say I don't want this line to show, I can take out that line. I just want it to look plain. I can click on this drop down and say new slicer style, right? Let's say no border, right? And I click on wool slicer. I format it, right? I come to my border option and I say none. And I click OK, right? And I click OK, right? Okay, so it's not still showing. Let me take this out. So let's come back again. Slicer setting. I come here, new slicer style, my wool slicer, border. I don't want any border to show. That is none. Fill, border, none. And I click OK. And I click OK. All right, so I don't know why it's still showing, but so I actually don't want this line to show. All right, let's come to home. So that's be done here. The slicer setting. I click OK. I click OK. Okay. So it's not going. So that's how we insert a slicer, right, into our data, right? And yeah, so let's do something more dynamic again. So let's try to create a pivot chart. So a pivot chart is a chart that's I mean, our regular chart, whenever I create a bar chart or a pie chart, right? So let's click a chart. So when you click on the pivot chart option, you see a number of type of charts, right? Let's say you want a pie chart, you want a bar chart, you want a column, clustered column. So let's click on clustered column just to make it easy. And I click OK, right? So I can drag this guy down. Let's click on, let's hide this data. So this is our chat. Yeah, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa
Thank
barakatuh.
you. Please, where did you click on insert chat? I'm lost, please.
Okay, the insert chats. So after you create your pivots, you've done your pivots, right? So under your pivot analysis, okay, let me click on this. Under your pivots table analyze, right? So you see the pivot chart under your tools group, right? So there's a pivot chart under your tools ribbon, right? So click on the pivot charts, then you just click OK. So it automatically creates it for you. So we can see that's what we have here, right? So that's what we have here. So then we can change the design of this charts. Let's say I don't want this color. I just want it to look more colorful. Or I can change the style of this. Let's format it. Okay, I don't want my sales agent to show. I can take away this guy. Just right click, remove the field. Actual revenue, yeah, is okay. I can, actual revenue is okay. This total field, I don't want it. I can just right click and and delete, right? So you can just delete that, right? So if you click on the agents, so you can see that our chart is moving. So for those that are doing dashboard, whenever you've done all these analytics and all, and you want your data to look cool, right? So you can use charts to make it. You can visualize it. Yeah. So I think they call it visualization, right? So then we now inserted the slicer. So the slicer now made it more dynamic and cool, right? So let's change this color. Let's say I want to change these colors. So let's say this is this color. Change this guy to, let's say green. And change this guy to, let's say black. Yeah. So you can see as we are clicking the agents, let's say just, I mean, that's for like how I'm trying to use a word. So just to make life easy for your boss, right? So whenever your boss has pulled the entire data for you from the system, right? You have your year, your month. So your boss like this can't understand what has been done here, right? So, but if you make it, you present it to him, maybe you are doing a presentation about the agent that made the highest sales, right, during the period, right? So you can use this dashboard, you can use these graphics, pivot analysis and pivot charts to do your analytics, right? So such that you just tell your boss, oh, okay, sir, just click on agent one. So you can see that agent one had the highest sales in February, right? Agent B had the highest sales in April. Agent C had the highest sales in January, while agent D had the highest sales in March, right? So you can see that, I mean, your boss is not concerned about the entire data. He just wants visualization. He just wants to see the summary, right? In the graphics, in a graphical way. You can even, I mean, can make this easy for your boss, right? So okay, Yusuf
Assalamu
Oladele has a
alaikum.
question.
Assalamu
Okay,
Yes.
alaikum.
walaikum salam to wa barakatuh.
I don't get
Sorry.
how you affected the color in different bars.
Okay, I'm going to take that. Yeah, Yusuf, you raised up your hand.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that how about if we can allow it such that we can select multiple agents, so we probably compare how their performance varies for like the different months.
Okay, I'm not sure I got that. Can you try to explain that?
like imagine a scenario where we can select both agent A, agent B, agent C, and the chart is still going to be showing that, oh, this is how agent A performs. So instead of us having to do agent A separately, agent B, so we can see everything like once. I think to do that, probably we need to press Control, then we select Control, then select. I think so. Or except is it multi-select? Yeah, multi-select.
Okay.
So then, no, I'm coming. Can you try escape? Then when you like want to,
Okay. Main form. Let me cancel this. Clear filter from sales agents. Okay. Okay. So we need to change the pivot table instead, right? So we can change the pivot table instead. So let's take this out. You know, our pivots.
we use the other one.
Yeah, so our pivot analysis, right? So it's only talking about the month and the actual revenue, right? But we can now change it to say, okay, let's have the month, let's have the agent and their revenue, right? Such that for each, we can now create a slicer for the months. Would that achieve what you
Yeah, I
want?
think if you want to do that, we can just make, like in the pivot table, we'll just make the agents a column. So we have the column, so for each of them.
Okay.
So once we add the agent to the column, it will change. No, we can still keep the month.
Okay, we can keep the month. Okay.
Yeah, we keep the months in row. So
Sales
we put
agent
the sales agents, we put the sales agents in columns instead.
in column.
So yeah, something like
Okay.
this.
Yeah, that's
You
cool.
can see that the
That's
chart has changed. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, that's changed. Wow, thanks so much for that insight. Yeah. So we can see that the chart has changed. So now it's now for us to identify which is agent. So I think the slicer will no longer work. Let me just take away the slicer. Right. Remove sales agent. Yeah. Okay, so it's now for us to do an identifier. Which one is agent A? Which one is agent B?
Apologies. Can I say something, please?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I think we can still leave the slicer. I think that's what now makes it interactive. So at the first glance, your boss could see that, oh, this is how the different agents performs. Then if he's now interested in maybe comparing two agents, he can then select the two agents that he requires. So it's sort of like interactive like that.
Okay. Okay, so let's insert the sales agent. Click OK. So this is our slicer. Right, let's drag this guy. Let's make it a 4 column instead. Drag like this. Yeah, drag like this. This one, this. Yeah. Okay. So at a glance, our boss is able to see all the revenues for each of the agents. Let me just try to make an identifier. I don't want the color. Label. Okay. So agent A is blue. Agent B. Okay. Oh, I'm trying to change this color. Let me clear everything. Let me see. This guy. Agent. Yeah, let's do the rights. Okay. All right. Okay. So at a glance, we have, so all these colors came by default, right? Because we made changes to, so you look at the back end, right? So this is the back end. This is our pivot analysis at the back end. We have the months, the agent A, actual revenue, agent B, agent C, and agent D. And we now created a pivot chart out of that pivot analysis, such that our data is now looking summarized. So at a glance, right, so your boss is able to say that, oh, agent C was the best in January. Agent A was the best in February. Agent D made the top performing sales in March, and agent B was in April, while agent A in May. Then in June, wow, all of them were the same. So I mean, overall, you will see that it's agent D that made the highest sale overall. Because if you look at the March sales alone compared to other months, it's huge, right? So at a glance, you've made it easy for whoever will be reviewing the sales data to be able to see a summarized version of the pivot. So now we understand how to do a pivot, right? So we understand how to create a pivot table, right, from our pivot data, a pivot chart rather, sorry, pivot charts. Then we also understand how to insert a slicer, right? So this is the slicer I was talking about, right? So I can clear all.
Hello,
So
Assalamu alaikum.
yeah, wa alaikum salam.
Maybe I missed it somewhere because when I clicked on the slicer for agent A, for instance, is removing agent A from the chart. I don't know what I've done. So if I click on agent B, it's removing agent A and B from the charts.
I'm not sure I got that. It's okay. So after you've done,
Maybe I've
okay,
selected multiple agents, multiple selection. This particular option or beside the
yes.
clear filter. So if you have selected that, you may do that. Probably you should select it in your own workbook.
Yeah, try to multi-select it in your workbook first. Let's see.
Okay.
Okay, so now we've understand how to do a pivot chart, how to do a pivot analysis of your data, and we also understand how to insert a slicer into our pivot table, right? So, and if you make changes to your raw data, right, you know how to make an update by using the refresh option. You can change the source of your data. Let's say you don't want your data to be this one. You can change data source entirely, right? So you can go and select something else entirely, right? So yeah, I think these are just the basic pivot analysis that's, yeah, just want us to understand. But as you go deep into the data analytics, you see more advanced. Had it been this Excel class extend for more than 2 weeks, we'll have gone into more advanced, how to create dashboard. We'll be creating dashboard. Okay, we can create a sales dashboard. We can create a financial report dashboard. We can create a lot of dashboard, right? But yeah, because of time, we won't want to take much time in that. So let's
Assalamu
move.
alaikum warahmatullah.
Yeah, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
What we just done now, can we just call it a dashboard?
Yeah, this is a dashboard, right? Right. In simple terms, we can call it a dashboard, yeah. Because it's the
Okay, thank
summary
you.
of your entire data, right? What is a simple dashboard? There are some dashboard that you just really like, oh my God, like, is this?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah, please go ahead. You have a question.
Okay, I have a question. Is
Okay.
it possible to move the chart to another Excel part, or I don't know if you get my question. Instead of it being side by side, can it be moved into another sheet rather?
Okay. Yeah, it's possible. So at the point of you creating your dashboard, right? So you have the option to, so let's say for example, let me delete this guy. Right. So this is our pivot analysis. I click on pivot analysis. I click on pivot charts. Right. And I say this. Okay. So if you have your answers, copy this to the new
Yeah,
sheet.
I think if we want to move it, we could just copy and paste elsewhere. But then I
Yeah.
think we did that already.
Okay. Yeah. So we've copied and pasted the, yeah, thanks so much, Yusuf. So we've copied and pasted into a new worksheet. This is the worksheet, right? So you can also bring our slicer, right? So you can copy our slicer, right, and paste it here, right? Okay, yeah, now see, this one is on selecting everything. Control D. E. Okay, let me select everything. Yeah, so you just copy and paste it into a new workbook, right? So why this one you have here, you can hide it. So people they won't tamper with it. So if you look at all those dashboard and all those analytics templates and all, so you won't see this one. Like, so just hide the original one. And what you just be seeing here is this, which is linked to this summarized version, right? Yeah, so you can copy and paste into a new worksheet.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, so I don't know. I think we can just move straight into formulas, right? So I don't know if there are any questions on that pivot analysis, but there's a lot to pivot analysis, but that's just like what I feel we should cover since we have a lot to do. Okay, so some basic, I'll call them some basic Excel formulas, right? Because you are working with with this kind of data, and your boss has asked you to get the total sales for February alone, right? I mean, the manual thing everyone wants to do is to say equals to sum, right? And look for February and say, now add all the February together, right? And enter. So it gets 4103, right? So instead of using sum, right? So you can use sum if function, right? So sum if function is a function that allows you to sum a particular number together using a criteria, right? So let's try the sum if function. Let's use sum equals to sum if, right? Open bracket, right? So what is the range, right? So the range here is not what we are looking for, not revenue, because revenue is what we want to achieve, right? We want to get the revenue. So it is the range of the criteria. And what is our criteria in this case? Our criteria is what? February, right? But what is what's the range, right? So this is where February is contained. Our criteria is contained in what? In the months column. So just select the entire range, right? Press comma, what's our criteria? Our criteria is what? February, right? So click on February, comma, what is it? Where is the sum of the range? So we do the sum of our what? Of our revenue. Then close our brackets and press enter. Right, so we can see that we have 4103. So this one is more accurate. Right, it's more accurate because I mean you've told Excel that go and sum everything that is February, right? Look at this month, pick what February and do the sum of the revenue for me. Then it gives me what? 4103, right? So that's how you use sum if to perform. And also you can manually type your criteria. Let's say you don't want to reference G5. Remember that our February is what? G5. You can delete it and put your February. No, this February. Then press enter. So you can see that I had to manually type February. Then there's a parenthesis beside it. So you have to put this for every text because Excel does not recognize text directly like that. So you need to put a parenthesis beside and before and after it, right? Okay. I did Lodge. Okay, so you have your answers, so please.
Yes, sorry. I tried that sum if I was lost. I was trying to do that sum if this thing. So I don't know if you can help me go from the beginning again.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah. So
Yeah.
sum if, whenever you want to write a formula in Excel, use your equals to sign and say sum if, right? So then open brackets. What is the range? The range where our criteria is located. Remember that our goal is to look for what? The total sales for February, right? But the range is where the February is contained. So that is here. The month column is our range. So select the entire month, Control Shift down, comma, what's our criteria? Click on February. February is our criteria, comma, then sum the range. What is our sum? Well, what are we looking for? We're looking for our revenue, right? So we need to select all the revenue, then close your brackets, then press enter, right? So if I ask, so do we all have this this worksheet I'm working with? Like, was it sent to us this morning?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Hope it doesn't have formulas.
No.
Okay. All right. So
There's no formula.
just to make it interactive, because I think I initially sent one before that had the formulas and all, but it will make it interactive, right? Because as I'm doing, I want you guys to also follow along too as well, right? So that's how you use your sum if, right? So then there's another advanced scenario again. Your boss has told you that please go and look for all the February sales that are white shirts in February. So you can't use your sum if again. You have to use sum ifs. Sum ifs. Sum ifs is another advanced formula. It's more advanced than sum if. So sum if, the difference between sum if and sum ifs is that sum if only has one criteria, right? Remember that our criteria in this scenario was what? Was February. So it can only take one. But some ifs can take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 till, 10, 50, right? So let's try some ifs now. So you just use your equals to sign.
Okay, sorry. Someone I couldn't hear. I am again. So
Yeah,
we will continue the some ifs after the 15-minute break. So if you have questions now, in order not to, questions that are unrelated to this course or questions that are related, whichever ones, you can ask your questions now so that we won't have those interruptions during the break. And this can be a hand stretch, body stretch break for people who have been sitting for so long. 15 minutes. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's interact. Let's ask our questions. Let's rub minds together. Okay, please go ahead, Salawa.
Sorry, actually, still don't understand the givers. So I'm trying to do it from my head. Like, I
Which
just
one
do
is
the
that?
some if how to separate the February one that you did, and I'm lost. Like, I didn't really. I'm doing it. I didn't really get it. I just go it step by step. I follow along. Thank you very much.
Okay, you mean I should run this sum if
I only
again?
something. How you just get it? Yes, sorry.
Okay. So sum if, right? So you put your before you write any formula in Excel, you write equals to sum if, right? Then open brackets. You can press your tab key. So your tab is your tab key just before letter Q. Press tab Q. What is our range? Our range here is what? The range of our criteria. So where is February located in simple terms? February is located here in the month. And whenever you see range, just understand that they want you to select an entire data. It could either be in horizontal or vertical format. So range is more than one. So select everything. Right. So this is our range. This is where February is located, comma. What are we looking for? Criteria. Our criteria is what? February, comma. So where do you want me to sum? I want you to go and sum all the revenue, right? So then select this guy, select everything, close your brackets, then press enter key. So you can see now we have 4103, right? Total sales for February, right? We can also go advanced. We can also go another level to say, oh, I don't want to select. Remember that we selected our February here, which is our G5, but we don't want to select G5. We want to manually type February. So just insert your parentheses, then press February, FEB, then close this, then press enter. It will also do the same thing for you, 4103, right? So yeah, so that's how you do that. That's how you do your sum if. So a sum if only addresses one criteria. So you can't select more than one, right? But to now go advanced, you can now use sum ifs. So when we come back after the break, we're going to quickly look at some ifs for the February white shirts or February white shirt and USA, right? Then we're also going to look at what count if, then average ifs, right? So once we look at that, then we quickly move to the next formula that we have. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sir, if I'm to get you right now, S. We can use them for irrespective of the whether it's a sum or count. Once it asks S, we should be using it for several criteria.
Yes.
That's all.
Yes. You can use it for several criteria. Yeah. So it's okay because the admin has given me an instruction not to do the sum ifs now. So but you can use it. So once you type in the formula, right? Sum ifs. So you can see sum of range, criteria range 1, criteria 1. Then you continue like that. Criteria range 2, criteria 2. Criteria range 3, criteria 3. Criteria range 4, criteria 4. So some ranges, I mean, are revenue. Criteria range 1 is February. You select where February is located, comma. Our criteria 1 is February. Criteria range 2 is our what? Column B. Criteria 2 is what? Is our shirt white. Then you try it. So can anyone try that? Let's see if you get it.
Assalamu alaikum.
No. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Now, please, I have a question on conditional formatting.
Okay.
So is there a way we can color a cell based on the cell content? Just one cell, not a column, no. Just a cell. Based
Hmm.
on the content of the cell. Maybe like
Okay.
a word, yes, maybe a word or something. A string,
Okay.
yes, a string content.
Okay. So can I give an example of a
Yeah,
word?
we can use this um okay, we have similar words here. Maybe somewhere where we have different words. So maybe, for instance, we have Abdullah, Adebayo. So we are now trying to color the cell Adebayo is in, maybe with green. So we are now trying to use conditional formatting using the rule that anywhere you see Adebayo, you should color the cell this color.
Yeah, it's possible.
Okay, sir.
It's possible. Okay, so what you need to do is okay, let's just try it here. Abdullah, Tayo, Wale, Singyat, Shegun, and Sabinus. Yeah. So country, Abdullah is from Nigeria, Tayo is from USA, she's from UK, Namibia, yeah, Tanzania, and we have Sabinus is from Ghana. All right, so this is our data, right? And we want to use a conditional format to say, please, anywhere you see Sabinus, go and highlight it for me, right? So let's say you have a large data. So what you just need to do is just select that entire data, right? You go to your home, right? Your home tab. Then you look at conditional formatting, right? So click on conditional formatting. You can click on new rules, right? So you want to create your own rule. Remember that conditional formatting has its own default rules, which are all this one. But we want to create our own specific rule. So click on new rule, right? And we can say format only cell that contain. So look at this second option that contains, right? Right? So cell value, no, we don't want cell value. So because we've selected format only cell that contain, right? So now we now need to edit that rule because under that rule we have a lot of options. So specific text. So click on specific text, right? So containing what? So put Sabinus, right? So you type Sabinus. So let's format it. You click on format, you come to your font number. No, let's go to fill, right? So let's say we want to fill it with yellow, right? And press OK, and click OK. Okay, let's try it again. Manage rules. Oh, it has changed. Why is it showing AB? Let me edit the rule. Review. Okay, let me delete this parenthesis. I click on OK. Apply, then OK. So you can see that Sabinus has been highlighted, right? Because we told the
Thank
conditional
you, sir.
formatting to go and check. Yeah,
Okay, thank you, sir.
yeah, you're welcome. Okay, any other question? It could be outside of what we are taking today. It might be maybe another function. Let's say you're trying to. Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, so concerning that the sum is the one
Okay.
you said we should try. Yeah,
Yes, yes.
I tried doing it now. It's actually giving me on value with the sign of one, an exclamation mark here.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I think
so
from what you said earlier, you said we should pick the sum range. Yeah.
Yeah, some
I don't
range
know
as
if
well. What did you pick?
I don't know if I can share my screen.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I need permission for that too.
Okay. Okay, you can try it. Let's see.
So I'm sorry, I'm coming. Sorry. Sorry, so I picked the A4 to A22. Can you hear me? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay,
I
I
can hear.
picked from A4 to A22. Then I went on to pick B4 to B22 also.
Okay.
Then again G6,
Okay.
H6, then the sales revenue. I don't know if I'm missing something there.
Please, you're
Yeah.
not seeing your screen now. Is it only me?
Yeah. So
You're not
You also
getting.
can see your screen.
I can see your
Sorry,
screen.
I'm coming.
try
I'm using
share
I'm
screen.
using I'm using both my phone and my system together, so I'm trying to log in from my system now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the way some ifs work is that some ifs takes into consideration the sum range first, right? So you can't, unlike some if. So some if you start with the range of the criteria, then you have the sum range. But this time around, some ifs is starting from the sum range. So you need to start with revenue. Right? Some ifs, open brackets. What is our sum? What do you want to add together? Highlight all the
Please,
revenue.
can you share your own screen, please? I think we
Okay.
are lost here. We are not. We are just hearing your voice.
Okay. I'll do that. Okay. Let me try that. Yeah. Or maybe I should just take it then. Let me just take it. Let me know where you can share my screen.
Yes, we can see it now.
Okay. All right. So let's use some ifs. All right. So everyone we can watch. What is our sum range? What do we
All
want to
right.
add together?
Break over. You can continue your class now. Thank you.
Yeah. So sum range is our what? Our sales revenue column. Select everything under your sales revenue, comma. What's our criteria range 1? Our criteria range 1 is we are looking for February 1st. Select the range where February is located, comma. What is our range? Our range is what? What's our criteria 1? Criteria 1 is February, comma. Criteria range 2 is shirt white. So go and look for the range where shirt white is located. Select it, select that range, comma. What's our criteria 2? Our criteria 2 is shirt white. All right. Then close your brackets and press enter. 2028. Is that clear?
Okay, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, please, 2028. What is it returning? I don't understand, sorry.
Okay, no, 2028. Like that's the total February shirt white sales. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you do that, you can do the same thing too for February, shirts white, and USA. Right. So let's try that. You can also try it from your end too. Some ifs, some ranges are revenue, right? Comma. Criteria range 1. Where is February located? Select everything, comma. Our criteria 1 is what? February, comma. Criteria range 2 is shirt white. Select the entire range, comma. What's our criteria 2? Shirt white, comma. Criteria range 3 is what? Country. So that is where USA is located, comma. What's our criteria 3? USA. Close brackets. Enter. 1618. You can do that check. So this is February, shirt white and USA. One six one eight. We can see that, right? So you can, I mean, as many criteria that you have, right? So you can use it to summarize to get to some specifics, right? But you know that pivot table is, you can also use pivot table to do this as well, right? So to just summarize it, so you just click on those options that, oh, I want products, you click on shirt white. So you can use pivot analysis to do this, but or maybe just you are just looking for one thing, you can use a sum if function to sum if or sum ifs. And you can also use sum ifs for your one criteria, right? So you don't necessarily have to use sum if. You can use sum ifs, even for one criteria. What's our sum of our range? Right, select our entire revenue, comma. What's our criteria range 1? Our criteria range 1 is what? The months, comma. What's our criteria 1? February. Just close brackets, press enter. So you can use some ifs, whether it is 1 or 2. Just I think it's even safe to use some ifs, right? So it's the same thing, Sha. Some ifs, yeah. So the same thing with counts, right? I find out how many shirts were sold for the below criteria. How many shirts, right? How many shirts were sold? Okay, Favor, you have your hands raised up. You have them.
Okay. Hi, good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, thank you for the lesson. Sorry, my network has been bad, so I didn't really get the essence of this sum ifs. You were trying to explain the sum ifs and a single criteria. So I really want to understand, why do we use the sum if? Is it, for example, now you want to get the total sales revenue for the month of January, then we use the sum ifs, or because I think I'm trying to understand the difference between the sum ifs. I got confused there than the sum if. I think I understood the sum if, but when you talk about different criteria for some ifs, I got lost. I don't know if you can quickly come back to it, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. Okay, so for okay, please confirm that you can hear me because I changed my
Yes, we
Yeah,
can hear you.
okay. Okay, so for some if, right? So some if only addresses one criteria. So for example, we are trying to get the total sales, right, for February alone. February is one criteria, and some if is, you can only use some if to perform one criteria, right? But if it is more than one, you're trying to get the total sales for February and shirt white. Some if will not work. Let's try it. Some if, open brackets. What's our range? Our range is February, right? Comma. What's our criteria? Our criteria is February, right? What's the sum of our range? Add up all of this together, right? You can see that's the end. Close brackets. right? So that's the end. You can't go further again. So it's only allowing you to what? To get the total sum of February, right? Because after the sum range, you can see the sum range here. There's nothing again, right? Unless you want to go and write another sum if, right? So now say plus sum if, right? I mean, it's workable, but it's not advisable. So some if will only address one criteria, right? But if it is more than one, you use the sum ifs, right? So let's try it again. Sum ifs now. Sum of range. Revenue is what we want to sum together because it's a what? It's a number, comma, our criteria range 1, right? So because we are looking for February 1st, so where is the range? The range for criteria 1 is what? The month column, comma, our criteria 1 is what? February. Then you continue again, comma, right? Criteria range 2, right? So you can see that anytime you're writing formula in Excel, this this option is going to pop up, right? So as you're writing the formula, it will be making changes. So it's showing us that we are now in criteria range 2. So the range 2 is what? The product range, right? Comma. Our criteria 2 is what? Shirt white. Then close your brackets, press enter. All right, so can you see the difference between sum if and sum ifs? So sum if is more like sum if is just one criteria. Why sum ifs is more than one criteria, right? So that's just the only difference. Is that clear, Favor?
Yeah. Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, so let's just move quickly to count, just like average too, right? So let's do average as well, right? So let's say you are trying to get so the average, right? That's the mean, right? So just press your equals to average if. Just press your average if. So average if is just one criteria. You want to get the average of what? So what is our range? Our range here is not the revenue range. It is what? The range of the criteria, right? So our criteria is February. So go and select the column where February is located, comma. Our criteria is what? February, comma, the average range. Average range. So select the sales revenue and press enter and close bracket, sorry. So you can see that we have the average for February, which is 512.875. So this is the average sales for February alone, right? So you can also do that for February and shirt white. So just say average if. Now we are now working with more than one criteria. Remember that the first example we did was what? Was just one criteria, which is just February alone, right? But now we have February, shirt white. So the same way you do for some ifs is the same way you do for average ifs as well. So just get your average range. So average range is what? Is the sales revenue, because that's what we want to average, right? Comma. Criteria range 1 is our February, our month column, comma. Criteria 1 is what? February, comma. Criteria range 2 is what? Is our product, right? So that's our product column. Select the entire product, comma. Criteria is what? Shirt white. When you are done with the formula, close your brackets and press enter. That is 507. So the average sales for shirt white in February is 507. So the same way you do for the last one too as well, right? So that's average if and average ifs. So for count, the same way too you do for count is the same way. It follows the same sequence as the other formulas, right? So just press your count. You just want to count, right? So count range. So what is the range? So this is the range where we want to count. We want to count the months, right? Comma. What is our criteria? February, then close bracket. Right? So it has counted that February is occurring, right, 8 times, right? So we have 8. So that means you sold shirts 8 times, or 8 shirts were sold in what? In February. Let's just use that word, right? So 8 shirts were sold in what? In February. Or February occurs 8 times in this data. Now let's go further. Count ifs for more than one criteria. Count ifs. Please, 1 second. Okay, so for count ifs, is more like, it's just like the other ones. So criteria range 1. What is our range? February, right, is the first comma. Criteria 1 is what? Is February, comma. Criteria range 2. Remember that you're starting with range, comma. The criteria 2 is what? Shirts white. Then close brackets, press enter. So that means 4 white shirts were sold in February, right? So that's the meaning. Then you can also do the same thing too for February, shirt white, and USA. So just press your counts, ifs, right? Criteria range 1. Remember that we have 3 criteria here. So February is where? Is located in this range. Select that entire range, comma. Criteria 1 is February, comma. Criteria range 2, right, is products. Select the entire products, comma. Our criteria 2 is what? Shirt white, comma. Criteria range 3 is country, right? Comma. Criteria range 3 is what? Is USA. Then close your brackets. So that means 3 white shirts were sold in, so 3 white shirts were sold in USA. 3 white shirts were sold in February, right? So that's that. So that's the meaning. That's the meaning basically. So that's the count. You're not adding anything. You're just counting, right? So you're just counting. So you can count more than one criteria, right? And you can count the entire cell. That one is pretty straightforward. Just press count, right? So you can count it, right? Close brackets. So you have 19, right? You have 19 here. So I think we are done with sum ifs, average ifs, and count ifs. So we can move to the next phase, right? So which is nested formula, if function, right? So this is also another function that you come across whenever you are working you are doing some analysis in Excel, right? If function. So now we have a data here. We have our sales agents. Why do we like sales like this? We like sales a lot in this classroom. Is anyone a salesperson on the call?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all of us should be salespeople because, I mean, at the end of the day, it's having the skill is not enough. You need to be able to sell that skill, right? So please, whenever we are learning a skill, we should learn the business of that skill too as well. Learn how to talk to people, how to post on, I mean, if you learn something on Excel now, you can go to Twitter and just say, oh, please, I've learned a new skill in Excel now and I want to train 5 business owners how to prepare a sales dashboard, right? Right, for free. I mean, indirectly, you are trying to get customers, right, without them paying anything. In the long run, when they see your value, you cannot charge them. So you've gotten 5 customers like that, right? So people like free things, right? But you may not use that approach. You can use another approach as well. If you say you want to organize a webinar for people, then through there you can get potential clients. Or maybe you went to a conference and you met people, you exchange. So it's always good to have sales knowledge. So having the skill is not enough. We need to learn the business of that skill, right? So now let's move to our if function now. So the first question is telling us that flag if our quantity is what? Is less than or equals to 3, right? So if our quantity is less than or equals to 3, flag it for us. So and how do you do that? You can use the if function for us. You can use conditional formatting for this too as well, right? But you can use conditional formatting too as well. Okay, I'll walk us through those 2 approach. So let's start with the if function, right? So just if you want to write a formula in Excel, start with your equals to sign. If, right? So you can see that it has even defined if for us. It checks whether a condition is met and returns one value if true and another value if false, right? Open brackets, right? So, and how do you do that? Logical tests. So our logical test is what? Our quantity. Remember that we are flagging what? Quantity less than or equals to 3. So select your quantity, right? And use the less than, right? Less than or equals to 3, comma. If it is true, right? Just put flag. If it is false, do nothing. Enter. So because our quantity here is not less than or equals to 3, it has done nothing for us. So just drag it down. Oh, so we can see that agent C, agent E, and agent F has been flagged because their quantity is less than or equals to 3. All right. Any question at this point? I'm sure it's clear, right?
Hello.
Walaikum salam.
Please, please, can you take it again, please? Thank you.
Okay. All right. So our if function, right? So the if function is a very powerful function in Excel that's based on certain criteria, you can ask it to give you a particular result, right? So now the question here has told us that flag if our quantity is less than or equals to 3. So that's the question. So you need to understand what they want you to do, right? So now we just go ahead to write our if function, right? What is our logical test? Remember that our test is what? If quantity, select quantity, is less than or equals to 3, then put your comma sign. If it is true, right, flag it. Remember that if you want to write a text in Excel, you need to put the parentheses. You say flag, right? If it is false, right, you can say do nothing. So just put your parentheses, right? Then close your bracket. All right, so can you see that? Press your enter, right? So just drag down up until agent G. So you can see that. So we can as well try to say we won't put parentheses on this false. If you don't put it, it's going to put 0 for you, right? But just to make our Excel file neat and clean, that's why we are putting parentheses. Please, Salawa, you have a question? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, are you pressing less than or equals to from the keyboard on your laptop, right?
Yes, so you can do that this way if before, right? So if you want to press your less than, press shift, hold your shift key and your less than. Can you try that? Shift and less than key, right?
Yeah, it's what?
Yeah, equals to 3, comma. If it is true, flag it. If it is false, do nothing. Close bracket. I can say if it is false, put 0. Whatever you want, it will do it for you. So you can see that, right? So now we have another. Yeah, wa alaikum salam.
On my screen, I ran the same command, and on the ones that it's not flagging, it gave me false. So I don't know what went wrong.
Okay, it's because you've not given false. You didn't
False
give false
command, exactly.
command. Yeah. So if you press. Yeah. So you didn't give false a particular command, right? So you didn't tell it to say if it is false, do nothing, or put 0, or put dash, or say no, right? So you need to give it a command. If you don't give it a command, if you write an if function, right, and you just say if quantity before is less than or equals to 3, if it is true, flag it, and you close your brackets. So if the answer is false, it's going to post false for you, right? So, but you need to go further to now tell it that, oh, if it is false, oh, do nothing. Put 0, put dash, say no, right? So that's how you go about it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. All right, so we move further to say if we have a scenario where you are required to flag more than one criteria, right? So you can now use an advanced, you need to match if with another Excel formula for it to be able to perform a further. Remember that in this first question here, we are only meant to flag if our quantity is less than or equals to 3. Now, the game has changed. They told us now to what? To flag if quantity is less than or equals to 3 and revenue is less than 200. You can see that you have two case study now. Aminat, you have a question.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, ma'am.
Please, can you go over the flag if again? I really don't understand it.
Okay. All right, so let me
Thank
delete it. So, if function, right? So it's a function that you use to perform, to check if a condition is met. If it is true, do this for me. If it is false, don't do this or do this for me too as well. So our condition, so when you type a if function, you press your tab. So our condition here is that what? If quantity is less than or equals to 3, go and flag it. Right? So our logical test will now be quantity is less than or equals to 3. So that is our test. That's the test they want us to do. Now, if it is true, right, flag it for me. If it is false, do nothing. Then close your brackets. Is this clear? Is this clear now?
It is clear, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So just press your enter key, right? So you can copy the formula and drag down, or you can use Control D, right? Just press Control D on your keyboard, right? It would flag the rest, right? So,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, Olushola, Ishola.
So I'm doing the same thing here.
Okay.
But it's popping up there is a problem somehow. Yes.
What's the problem, sir?
I mean, there's a problem with this formula. And I did the same thing with it.
Okay, so what's your formula? Yeah, read it out for us. Equals to if open
If
brackets.
open bracket B4
Okay,
less than or equal to 3, comma,
okay,
double colon, flag, double
yes,
colon, comma,
yes,
double colon, bracket close.
yes.
That's what I did.
So your less than or equals to, are they together?
Yes, they are together.
So can you see my screen? This is how it should look like. Oh, if, see, can you see my screen? If before, see my less than and equals to.
Yes, there is no space in between.
There's no space in between.
Yes.
Wow, this is. Okay, so what's the error option that is bringing out for you?
You're just telling me there is a problem with this formula. Not trying to type a formula. When the first character is an equal or minus sign, exact thing is the formula. You type.
Can you share your screen? Can you share your screen?
Okay, no, use the equals to option. Don't use minus.
I did not use it. I did not use minus at all.
Okay.
Please, the person to check the formula very well. I just get my own now because I was having the same problem with the person talking, but I used the way you did it and it worked right.
So delete the formula. Let's write it again.
Okay.
So delete everything. Equals to if. Yeah. Try. Try it again.
Equals to.
Please hold on, James. So I'm coming.
Equals to.
Okay.
If.
Yeah.
Before.
Okay.
Less than or equal to 3, comma.
Okay. Yeah.
Flag, comma.
He has made parentheses.
Okay. Yeah. So the parenthesis is you press your shift and your at. Yeah. So shift and at. So it should look like this. Shift and at. So this is how it should look like. Oh, not 1. It has to be 2.
Yes, it's 2. It's 2.
Okay.
No, don't worry. Let's continue. I think I will get it.
Oh, no. You have to get it to. It's not as if. Yeah, share your screen. Share your screen. Let me give you. I think you've been given the option to share your screen.
Okay.
Yeah. We should solve the problem here. That later will not work. Okay, try it now. So we're trying to audit your formula. Let's audit your formula.
Okay.
How many auditors do we have in the house?
Can you see my screen now?
No, yeah, I can.
Yeah,
I can. You can't see it. You can't see it.
I can't see your screen now.
Can you see it now?
Not yet. Oh, yes, we can see it now.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see your screen.
E. B. Greater than now. Less than or equal to. Cut 3. Comma. Flag. Comma. Okay, close. Hello, Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I think where the problem is,
I think there's a space.
there should be space in between the parentheses, which is not supposed to be. Yeah.
So remove the space there. Okay, and try it now.
Assalamu alaikum.
Same thing.
I think this his parenthesis is typing it 1-1 instead of the double. You're meant to use shift and that one, so it will be double instead of 1-1. You're typing it 1-1. It's meant to be
Okay,
double at once.
where can I get the double?
Just
So
click shift, then your parenthesis is going to be double instead of 1.
Shift
shift,
parenthesis,
press your shift and at.
shift
There's
and
a
add.
at, yeah, at. No, shift. Use your shift.
Okay. Okay, I can get it
Yes,
now.
yes, yeah, yes.
Hold on. Okay. Ah, I don't know how this one is where this one is.
Wait.
Oh, I think it's working now, Abby.
Yes, it's working now.
Yeah, so you need to take us out. Oh. You need to take us out. Oh. All right, that's nice. Yeah.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
so James, over to you.
Okay, good morning, everyone.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, I really don't have a question. I want to make a suggestion. I don't know,
Okay.
this suggestion might sound somehow, but I think we should just look at it and see if it's going to be, if it's something that's going to work eventually. Looking at that, we are supposed to finish by 11:30, and this is already 11:08, and we are just on maybe table 4. So I feel like, is it since all of us are going to get the recording eventually, is it possible we avoid not asking questions till the class is over? And maybe if you now watch the video eventually, the next day we are having class, there will be room for questions on the areas you did not get. Is it possible that way?
Yeah, so I think I totally agree with you, right? Because we still have a long way to go. I mean, the best thing would have been in some trainings, right? There are some other trainings that they will mute everybody, they will not allow anybody to ask any question. You just drop it on the
Exactly.
chat. Then after the session, they will now go through the chat and pick all the questions or now give everyone the opportunity to unmute themselves, right? So
Because I feel the interruptions are just too much.
Yes, I agree. Because we are still going to get the video. So we can watch it.
Exactly. Whatever you don't get now, when you get the video, you'll be able to, I mean, you can be watching and practicing at the same time.
You're ready. So
but that's noted. So we'll work the admin to get a better way. But yeah, well, I think that should be the best thing for us. But you know, all of us, we don't work with the same speed and
Sorry, excuse me.
yeah, please go ahead.
I think in
Hassan.
addition to what James said, if there is any question anyone wants to ask, it probably should be placed on the group so that people can actually assist that person with the question rather than disturbing you, the facilitator in the class.
Okay. All right. Thanks so much for that suggestions. Yeah. Hassan.
Okay, the facilitator, I agree with the earlier speaker that the question might be disturbing the flow of the class, but it's also needed. But we need to consider others too, because we are not in the same level of IQ. And once it is missed, the person may not get it back. But instead of totally avoiding questions in next class, why not during break? The 30 minutes, I think 15 minutes break can be used to ask questions. And maybe after the class, people that have questions may still stay back and ask their questions. They probably during the question, the first section, the break out time, 15 minutes for question, then after the class as well, some other time we created for question on the topic treated. It's far better than keeping it to next week. The person may be trying to, just like the one you just treated now. And perhaps, thank God for some of us that are asking questions. Some people are not also getting it. But when some others ask questions, they pick it from there. So that is my own suggestion.
Actually, that's what I actually said. after the class, people can ask questions. Then the one you still don't get after watching the video, there will be room for class, for questions the next day we are having class. That's what I actually said.
Yeah, thanks so much, Mr. James and Mr. Hassan, for those suggestions. They've been noted, and I'll talk to the admin and we'll work out something that will go with those recommendations as you guys have made. And the next session, we'll try to make it more streamlined, right? Right, because yeah, we just have to reach the end goal, right? Okay. Okay, so we can move to the next. So we are still under the if function, and we're trying to get now. The first case study was for us to flag if the quantity was less than or equal to 3. Now,
your screen is not on your screen.
okay, it's not on. Okay, let me share my screen. Please let me know if it's up now.
Yes,
Yes, it is.
All right, thank you. So now we have to flag if our quantity is less than or equals to 3 and revenue less than 200. So we have two conditions here, right? And if you look at that if function just takes only one condition, right? But how do we make it takes more than one condition, right? So we need to bring another formula. So the power of this if function is that you can use 10 formulas, right? You can include 10 formulas inside if function, and I mean, it will work. So let's look at the if function by default, right? So the if function is what? Logical tests. That is one logical test. If it is true, if it is false, that is only one condition. But we want more than one condition, right? So we can use if, let's see, ifs, right? We can use ifs function, or we can use another function, right? But I'll take us through the two functions, right? So let's try ifs function. Ifs function is when you have more than one condition, you can use your ifs function, right, to achieve that, right? So what is the objective? The objective is what? To flag quantity less than or equals to 3 and revenue is less than 200, right? So equals to ifs, right? Logical test 1 is what? Quantity less than or equals to 3, comma, if it is true, flag it. Or, okay, we can flag it here, comma, logical test 2. Our logical test 2 is what? Revenue, right? Less than, is this less than sign? No, this is less than sign. Yeah. So less than 200, right? Comma, if it is true, we also what? We also flag it, right? So let's close our brackets and let's see. Not applicable.
You didn't do nothing.
Okay. Yeah, okay, yeah. So
the last parenthesis.
yes. So the reason why I did not put it is because if you look at the formula, right? So the formula is only asking you to say logical test 1. That is your condition 1. If it is true, flag. Logical test 2. If it is true, flag. Right? So there was no option for us to say if it is false. So if's function is only if it is true, 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 true. There's no option for us to say if it is false. But if we want to take away all these NA, because all these NA are like what? They are like error. So they are error, right? So you can use another function called if NA. So if NA is a function in Excel, that if I'm writing a formula and the result is giving me NA, go and take it out for me. So and how do you do that? You see this if function, right? Immediately after your equals to, just put if NA. You can see you can look at my screen. Before your ifs, put if NA, open brackets. Go to the end of the brackets, right? That you have your flag and say comma. It's now asking you that if it is a value if NA, if it is NA, do nothing. Can we see that? I can take that again so it can be clear to every one of us. Can we see that it has cleared all the NA? It has done nothing for us. Right? Any question, guys?
Yes, I have a question,
Please
please.
put that again.
I
It's
think
not
in my
clear at
own
all.
Excel, there's no if, so I've been
Yeah,
trying to
so I don't have
I've been
ifs.
trying to look for it. So there's no ifs.
There's no ifs.
But
All right.
there's if and a.
Okay. So now I
Exactly, I don't have it.
yes. So and I can even see that. Okay. So let me delete this, guys. So let's use another function, right? So this one should work. So let's say if, right, open brackets, equals to, let's use our normal if. We all have if, right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So we'll use if, and we're going to use and function, right? And, right? So look at my screen. If open brackets, then we'll now combine, we can combine two or more formulas together, right? So now let's combine and into this if for us to do that ifs, right? So put your and immediately after your if NA, if and open brackets, then open your brackets. So logical one, right? So what's our logical one? Our logical one is quantity. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can, but they will not be able to answer you again because I've taken note of the complaints and I have blocked everyone from talking.
Okay. All right. So we're going to combine two formulas together to achieve our objective now, because I can see that some of our Excel versions, I think that's 2010 and above, is going to have that ifs, right? Or maybe 2016. So anything below 2010 might not have ifs. Maybe it's due to updates. So now let's use our if and function. If open bracket, then start with and, A-N-D, open your brackets. What is our logical one? Our logical one is what? If our quantity is what? Is less than or equals to what? 3, comma, logical 2. If revenue equals to C4, that revenue is what? Is less than 200, right? Is there any logical 3? No, right? So that's where it stops. Then close your brackets, comma. If it is true, flag it, comma. If it is false, do nothing. Close your brackets. Can we all see that? Look at the formula again. Equals to if, then and. We are using two formulas. So B4 is what? Less than or equals to 3, comma. That's our logical test 1. Logical test 2 is what? C4, revenue is less than 200. Then flag it. If it is false, do nothing. So let's copy the formula. Can we see that it has flagged agent C and agent F is less than 3, right? Is equals to the revenue is what? Less than 200, right? So can we all see that now? So you can use two formulas together to achieve one objective. We can and alone is a formula, is a function on its own, right? Because we saw that some of us are not having ifs, so we can combine if and together, right? So yeah, so I don't know if anyone, okay, you can be able to speak, but if you have questions, please drop it on the chat box, right? I'm going to pick it up then. So now let's look at the third one, right? So now they said if revenue is less than or no, sorry, greater than or equals to 300, and if only quantity is greater than or equals to 4, then gifts. Otherwise, if revenue is less than, so is less than or equals to 250, then praise. Otherwise, out of condition. Okay, so let's try it now, right? So this third scenario wants us to what? To gift any agent that is revenue is greater than or equals to 300 and its quantity is greater than or equals to 4. So they will collect gifts. But if your revenue is equals to or greater than 250, we are going to praise you only, right? And if you don't fall within that category, you will not collect anything. So now let's use our if, right? If open bracket and function, open brackets. What is our logical one? Logic one is what? Revenue is greater than or equals to 300, right? Greater than, you know our greater than sign now? 300, comma, logical two is what? Quantity is greater than or equals to, quantity is greater than or equals to 4, right? Close brackets. If it is true, right, what do? You gift. So press your gifts, close your parentheses, right, comma. If it is false, okay, they said otherwise, if revenue is greater than, okay, we can write another formula here. Sorry. And right. Revenue, comma, is greater than or equals to 250. Close brackets, comma. It is true. Please. Close brackets. Close brackets. It is false. Do nothing. Arguments. Okay. It is false. Do nothing. or if this guy is greater than or equals to 250. Right, close brackets. Okay, we can use or function instead of and. Okay, so let me delete this. So let's do it again, right? So because the condition here is saying that otherwise, if, right? So let's try it again. If open brackets, instead of using and, we're going to use the or function, right? Or if revenue is greater than or equals to 300, comma, logic 2 is quantity. That is our B4 is what? Greater than or equals to 4. Okay, sorry. Greater than or equals to 4, right? Close brackets, right? Or you can say, if it is true, right, we're going to gift such person, comma. If it is false, do nothing. Close brackets, right? Okay, I'm going to do this. If and this guy is greater than or equals to 250, comma, close bracket. If it is true, I'm going to press RE, so ISE, then close brackets. Okay, Ikma Opemi has the answer stuff. Can you unmute yourself? Do you have the option to? Let me delete this guy.
Assalamualaikum, sir.
No. Walaikum salam.
Yeah, for the formula, we can still use if and then after the first and second logical test, we can still use if
Okay.
for the value not true.
Okay. So let's try that. Equals to if and, right? So our logical one is what? If our revenue is less than or equals to, sorry, equals to 300, so greater than or equals to 300, comma, logical 2 is quantity greater than or equals to 4, right? Close brackets. If it is true, we are going to gift such stuff, right? Comma, if it is false, then we can now use our formula, right? Just like you said, if, right? We can also use and, right? But since it's just one condition, we can maintain if. Okay. So if our revenue is what is greater than or equals to 250, comma, if it is true, we praise such staff. Praise close bracket. If it is false, do nothing, close bracket, close bracket. Okay. Thanks so much, Hikma, for that. Yeah. So I've been trying to write several formulas, but it wasn't working. So yeah, so that's why we are all here together. So let me run through this formula again. Right. So remember, if we want to write our if function, we can combine if and together for two or more conditions, right? Our first condition is if our revenue is greater than or equals to 300, comma, our quantity is greater than or equals to 4, right? So we're going to gift them because that is true. But if it is false, we can now write another if inside that false again, right? So immediately after the comma, you have value if false. Inside this value if false, that's the reason we now write all this formula to say if our revenue is what is greater than or equals to 250, right? If it is true, then praise him. If it is false, do nothing, then close brackets. So so you can see that I think the formula is straightforward. So the very first option is what? Our logic 1, right? Logic 2, then our answer, value if true, is gifts. Then if it is false, so that's when we are now putting this logic. If our what? Our revenue is greater than or equals to 250, then we now praise that person, right? So because
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir, for that. So I didn't want to interrupt your class. I wanted to answer the questions, but I mean, the actions are now self-explanatory. So the major reason why this class was meant to be like this was because it's meant to be interactive, right? It's meant to, our major goal here is that you understand what you are here for. We are of the maxim that it is not how far, but how well. You will notice that after the interactions of people was cut from the conversations of the class, you will notice that it was a one-way stream, that the facilitator only continued to do it and he didn't understand your aim. However, what can be done is that I will ensure that the amount of questions can be streamlined or trimmed to 3 during the class. Which means if the facilitator is saying some things during the class, if the person is not saying anything related to what the facilitator is currently talking about, the person risks a chance of being kicked out, or the person might probably be muted abruptly. So it is most likely the person is muted abruptly or the person is kicked out if it becomes incessant. However, please understand that the major reason why this is allowed, why the questions are allowed, is because it should be interactive. Who are our major concern? What benefit would it be for us if we complete the syllabus and you do not understand it? So I hope you get what I am saying now. So due to this, I'll probably be adding 20 more minutes for any question and for those who want to fill their attendance. Please do so.
Thanks so much, admin, for that clarification. Yeah. So if you notice, when everyone was muted, so just like I was just talking to myself alone, right? I really do not understand your pain, what you're going through, right? And yeah. So okay. So do you have any question regarding? Okay, please go ahead, Olushola. And thanks so much, Hikman, for that.
Sir.
No, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
There are instances where you use different criteria like for some people.
We can't really hear you. I think the network is
How you hear me now?
okay. Is much better now.
Okay, I see there are various instances where you use different criteria in getting a solution, just like when you use sum ifs, count ifs. But in a situation where a manager gives us an assignment that an employee is earning is entitled to two earning, a commission and a salary on percentage. A commission is fixed. No, a salary is fixed, but commission is based on sales. So in that situation now, which one is the appropriate for us to use? Is it some if or which one of you? I don't know which one we are going to use.
Okay. Okay, so if I get you correctly, right? So the employee will receive a commission based on the number of sales, right? So an employee receiving a commission based on the number of sales, right? Okay, so we can do an example. Let me try this. Let's just do this here. Right. So these are the sales agents, the quantity and revenue. So you are going to get 5% commission if your sales is above, if your sales is above 300, right? So is this what you mean? Olushola, I can't hear you. I think you are muted.
So what I mean is the employee is earning a certain amount as fixed salary, just like 20,000 naira every month.
Okay. Okay.
But the main salary is based on the sales. That is the commission on sales. So which formula can we combine to give us how much is earning at the end of the month?
Okay, formula to get us how much is earning at the end of the month. Well, you can use your sum if function to get the total. Okay, so I just want to give it I want to put it in a live scenario, right? 30,000. Right. So I don't know if this works. So this is the salary and these are the sales, right? So now these are the agents, this is how much they earn, and this is how much they sold. So you want us to give you a formula such that we're able to determine an employee that's has a salary and the sales is above 300, and you should now calculate a 5% commission on that sales plus the person's salary and give you what the person should earn for that month. Is that what you?
Yes.
Okay. This is okay, let's say this is January. Right. Okay. Okay, now, because I like to work with practical, right? Okay, now, so let me explain this to everyone. This is our sales agent. This is January sales, right? So January salary, right, for all these agents. And now the company has made a policy that anybody's sales that is more than 300 will receive a 5% commission on that sale. And at the end of the day, you'll be going home with a salary plus commission, right? So, okay, we want Excel to now say, okay, oh, we have this data, but go and calculate the commission that that person should earn and add it to that person's salary and give us the total, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so salary plus commission. So we can use if function to do this, right? So we don't need to use any sum if or average if. No, we can use if function to do this, right? So and how do we do that? So let's try it together. So we can use our if, right? If then and, right? So what's our logic one? Our logic one is so we don't even need to write any logic. I think one logic is enough, right? We don't need to write plenty logic. So this thing is if our sales, right, is what's greater than 300, right? Comma, if it is true, do 5%, right, times this guy plus our salary, right? Comma, if it is false, just give them the salary only, right? Close brackets. Okay, did you see what I just did? So I said if, right? So let me delete it. So if, right, our logic test is what? If your sales, right, is greater than 300, if it is true, you are going to get, let me just open the bracket. You are going to get a salary, right, plus, oh no, board mass. In board mass, we can't use addition first. That is multiplication before addition. Okay, so that means we're going to get our sales times our what? 5%, right? Plus the person's salary, right? Comma, close bracket. If it is false, salary alone, then close brackets, right? So we just drag down. So we can see that agent A salary was what? Agent A salary is just 20,000 naira because his sales is not above 300, right? Agent B, his sales is 300, but remember that our condition is what? Above 300, right? So he's only going to earn his salary. Agent C, sales is 50. That one is even out of it. Agent D is what? His sales is what? Above 300, right? And so the formula has already applied the 50% of, sorry, 5% of what? Of his sales and added it to his salary. That's how we're having 50,017, right? Agents E, that one too, his sales is not up to 300. It's not up to 300 at all. D, okay, F2 is also within that same category. Why agent D, G, his sales is what? It's above 300. Hence, he's earning a 5% commission plus his salary. So is that clear now? Look at these two data. So is that clear? So you can use your if function to do that. Yeah, if function. Okay, any other question? Okay. Please go ahead, Kudra.
Hi, thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
No, walaikum salam.
Okay, I sent a screenshot on the chat box now. I don't know, the Excel for this week too has been displaying expression error, the imports, blah, blah, is not
does not match no report, no exports. So I've not been able to work on the sheet for this week.
Wow.
I
Week
don't know, probably
two.
it's my own
What
Excel.
version of Excel are you using?
I think it's 2016. I don't know. But it's for this particular week. The last week own
Okay, my
does
Excel
not
has been
like
sending this error message for this week sheet. How do I go about it? Still loading, but I don't know why. Okay, let me see. Trying to check it for my hand. Also, have you been able to open it at all? Like, it didn't open at all, right? So try to open a new Excel workbook that is blank, right? Then come to your file, then go to open, right? So we're not going to open that document wherever you saved it. Maybe it's on your desktop or on your documents folder. You're just going to pick it from there. So let's see if that would work. Because that's been opening here. Try that and let me know. Let me know the issue. Okay, Mr. Wasil, start to you.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, walaikum salam.
Yeah, the dashboard that we tried to create the other time,
Okay,
I'm
sir.
trying to copy it in on the Word, Microsoft Word, on the Word document, but it's not showing me those. It's just showing me pictures. As I was scrolling, Agent A is not changing. It's just showing me picture alone. So I don't know how that could work.
Oh, okay. Okay, I
It's
get.
just showing me picture alone. So it's not allowing me to pick to change agent A to agent B to agent C and all that.
Yeah.
I don't know if they normally copy to Excel or to Word, or there's a way they do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, yeah. So because you are transferring that data into another application entirely, so Word does not have those features of analyzing the dashboard, right? Where you can click this slicer. So Word does not even have slicer, right? So Word does not have a slicer where you can be clicking like this and everything will be changing, right? So, but in Microsoft Excel, so when you copy it to Word, so because those functions don't exist in Microsoft Word, it's not going to work in Microsoft Word, right? So it will either go in as a picture format or it will go in as a raw data. Let's try it here. Let me try and open my Word document. Okay, please. Okay, this screen is not showing. Let me show it again. There's no way you can see my screen. Okay, so this is our dashboard. I copied it into my Microsoft Word, right? Okay. So I've copied it now, but I can't make okay, let's say chart design. So you can see here format chart design. Let's copy the slicer too as well. And let's see if it will work. Okay, I've also copied the slicer as well. So you can see that the slicer by default is just coming as a picture format because Word does not have a slicer, right? So this would not work, right? So you can see I'm trying to click agent C, agent D is not working, right? But however, this chart would work because there's a link between because Word on its own also has a chart, right? And if you copy a chart to a Word, if you are not careful, it's how on it, it's the data, you're going to lose your data, right? So if you look at, when I copy this chart into my Word document, I can see chart design, right? I can see switch row and column, select data, edit data, refresh, change chart type. So let's try and do edit data. Let's see what happens. Edit data. Let's try and edit data in Excel. So it has taken me to Excel because Word itself can't even edit anything here. It will take me to the source. Where did I copy it from? I copied it from Excel, right? If I want to refresh data, it will go and look at that Excel. Remember that if I delete anything on this Excel, it's going to go away too as well. So let's delete it. Let's see. Let's say I deleted this guy. Okay, let's delete the raw data. Let me delete all the revenue for agent A, for example. All the revenue for agent A. I deleted it, right? I come to my pivot analyze. I refresh my data. You can see agent A has nothing, right? I come here. Can you look at Word? Agent A has nothing because it's linking from Excel. And Microsoft Word has charts. You can design charts in Microsoft Word, but you don't have slicer. That's why slicer is coming as a picture. I hope that is clear now. Aisha, you have it. Let me check. I think some people have their hands raised up. Please go ahead. Please, if you raise up your hand, you can go ahead. So ask your question. Copied my data. My data is back now. You can see I deleted it and I included my data back. So there's a link between Microsoft Word and Excel. That's if Microsoft Word has that same functionality of Microsoft Excel, right? There won't be any issues, right? But if they don't have, it will just come in as a picture format. All right, any other question? I'm sure by tomorrow we're going to move very fast to cover those formulas, and yeah, we're going to move very fast tomorrow. Sure. So any other question before we call it a day? Okay, yeah, please go ahead, Hamina.
Yes, I can't see sheet 1 in the tabs. It's from index D10
Okay,
F1.
yeah, yes, I was trying to explain something. I was trying to explain that you can copy your charts from a worksheet to another worksheet and nothing will happen. You see this chart, right? It was created where? It was created this worksheet T10. We created it here, right? So I was just trying to explain that you can copy that chart and come and paste it here, right? And nothing will happen. So it's linking. You can create a chart somewhere else and copy it into another place, right? So that's the one. Yeah. Is it clear now?
Okay, yes, it is.
Yeah. Any other question?
No, thank you.
Right, you're welcome. Okay, yes, Adebayo. Yeah, Mr. Adebayo, over to you. You can go ahead. Oh, you can't unmute. Wow. Let me see. Let me look into that. Okay, try it now.
All right, yes, fine. Assalamu alaikum.
Yeah, wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, so once you were doing that, what's it called? Commission stuff, the sales agents with the commission, in case you want to like give them a commission, they perform beyond expectation.
Okay,
So you're
okay.
going to use that if formula. So I was trying to like perform the same thing right now, but then it's like I did not get the exact what's it called? Exact prompts you inputted in that if function. So maybe you can go back, like go to your screen, just let me see how you carried it out.
Okay. So we said if open brackets sales H23 is greater than 300, comma, if it is true, multiply H23, that is sales, times 5% plus salary. So the reason why I did multiplication before addition is because of board math.
Sorry, I actually, to be honest, I got that, but I seen where the issue came from. I was putting it in parentheses of in brackets, that condition.
Okay,
So I adjust that now.
Except you are using a text. So the reason why we use parentheses is whenever you are using a text, you want to put a text. So you need to, because Excel doesn't recognize text like that, right? So, but for you to recognize it, you need to put a parenthesis.
Okay, so got it. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm welcome. Okay, any other question? So this status you can, I mean, for me, it's done and understood, but maybe for you, you can say done but needs practice, right? So you might ask, how did I create this thing, right? So let's say, navigate ladder file. Well, I'll review it later, Jerry. So you can see, why am I changing all of these guys and all these guys are changing? Select one, it's doing nothing, right? It's conditional formatting. I use conditional formatting to create this, right? So, and how do you do that? Go to your conditional formatting, right? Manage rules. Let's see the rule, right? So, edit rule, right? So this is the rule. So the rule is use a formula to determine which cell to format, right? So if the formula, so if the cell is review later, right? Color it red, right? Okay. Then this one too. If E3, that is this column, is what? Is equals to done but needs practice, color it yellow. But if E3 is done and understood, color it green, right? So that's how we, because inside one conditional formatting, you can write many rules, right? So you can write many, I can create another rule to say new rule, right? So equals to if, right? Coming. Okay, let me just try it here. E3. Let's say let's say E14, E13, right, is equals to not started, right? So if it is not started, format it to say red, pure red. Say okay. Right, I say okay. So because I don't have not started here, so it's not going to, so I can just type, let's say not started. Okay, because this is a drop down, it's not going to work. Okay, so let me include it in my drop down. So this is outside of data validation. That's how you include the drop down. So you come to your what? Your data validation, right? So lists, there's a source. So the source is text, right? So let me make this big, right? Comma, not started, right? And I say, okay, right? So if I come here and click not started. Okay. Let's come back to our conditional formatting. Manage rules. New rules. Right. Equals to this guy equals to not started. Right. Format it to say color red. Okay. Okay. Then this will apply it. Then say okay. Right. So you can see it as highlighted, not started as red. Right. So, well, maybe in next class, if we have time, we'll talk about how to do some conditional formatting. But yeah, so this is the power of conditional formatting. This is the power of hyperlink. We treat that in the last class we did. All right, so if there are no other questions, thank you very much for your time. And yeah, so please let's practice. You can watch the videos, and if you have any question, you can ask on the WhatsApp group, or you can reach out to me. I'm also on the group chat. My name is Abdullah. So we can resolve that issue together. Yeah. Thank you for your time, and I really appreciate everyone.
All right, thank you very much, sir. We really appreciate the class, and it's time to leave. Right, so please fill the attendance, and please, everyone, just ensure that you do your assignment as soon as it's sent, and you fill the attendance. And please, tomorrow we are going to have the chance again to ask questions we did today, and we are going to make it. We are going to make it very interactable, very interactive. Sorry, like it was before we started adding the restrictions. So yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. So for those who are not on the chat, please drop your numbers on the attendance. Please fill the attendance, and then you'll be added. All right. Thank you very much. And oh my God, I'm going to be leaving the call for there about 2-3 minutes so that you can fill the attendance, and afterwards I will close the. Please don't drop your number on the group chat, please. Fill the attendance and drop your number there. Thank you.